before we get to that, I don't want to get too far from Mike Tyson and why some famous people take themselves out. And, you know, Tyson has effectively killed himself by his behavior. And you were saying when he was with Gus D'Amato, he was a disciplined fighter,
he had somebody who loved him, somebody who cared whether he lived or died.
And who guided him.
Yeah.
Was his guardian angel, so to speak.
For his life. I had that guy in my life.
Really?
When I was a young man, I came out of the Army, and I went back to work. And boy, I was crazy. I mean, I got in a lot of trouble. I was blacklisted for almost 2 years. I smacked a director, and I got fired from another job, and all of a sudden the phone wasn't ringing. So I went back to work, and Richard Boone, remember Richard Boone?
Sure.
He said, Robert, you are going to stay in this business. You're going to wind up on death row or in prison, because you ain't going to make it. And he took me by the ear. This was like 1960, and he drugged me to his lawyer. His name was Lou Goldman.
Lou Goldman.
Now, Lou Goldman handled every wild man in the business. He had Lee Marvin, he had Tony Quinn, Jimmy Coburn, Steve McQueen, Lee Cobb. He had every guy.
Wild guy in the business.
And he was Gus D'Amato. He took me under his wing. He said, Robert, you have to listen to me, otherwise you're never going to make it. And somehow he had the emotional and the psychological wherewithal to get me to respect and love him.
Right. To rein you in, first of all,
and
point you in the right direction.
He kept me out of the courtrooms. Many's the time he went back in the judge's chambers and drugged me back there and solved a problem that was going to turn into a nightmare. Came on the sets and handled things, went to Lou Wasserman's office and said, don't worry, I'll handle it, I'll fix it.
And what would
I'm still here.
And what would he say to you if you'd gotten yourself in trouble? Like, hey, Robert, what the hell are you doing?
For some reason or other, I listened to him. When I was with him, I was like a little boy. And I would apologize. I'd say, God, Lou, I'm sorry. He had a way of getting to your heart so that the junkyard dog was not there with him. And he took care of all of us in that way. I was very lucky. He got me a business manager who made me a rich man.
So you saved some money.
Because Lou insisted that I do what the business manager said. Live in a small house, drive a regular car, because he said, if you ever get to the point where you got to hold your hat in your hand and walk in somebody's office and say, please, you're going to kill them. So we got to make you financially independent as soon as possible. He took me out of situations that I shouldn't have been in. He flew to Europe and cleared up a situation that I could have, God knows what would have happened.
Could you tell us what the situation was?
I was working on a movie. And very quickly, very briefly, when you take a real gunshot in the chest or someplace, first they put metal on you. Because this was a small movie and I was doing my own stunts and stuff. First they put metal on you, then they put the leather thing with the explosive.
Gotcha.
So when they push the button, the explosive all comes out here. Because the metal thing keeps it from coming here. Right. Well, it was late and everybody was working fast and they forgot to put the metal on me. So they hit the button and the leather blew into my chest and I blew backward and I saw stars. I went crazy. And I came up swinging and screaming at everybody. I couldn't get my hands on the special effects guy, so I hit the makeup man. I hit anybody I could. I went nuts. And it was a big scene, and it was a terrible scene. And I didn't want to work on the movie anymore. And cops came and everything. Lou flew there.
Enter Mr. Goldman.
Talked to everybody, talked to me, made me go apologize, made the other people apologize to me for not hanging them, and we got through the movie and stuff like that.
Here's Kate on the toll-free in Indianapolis. Hi.